John Hall from Right Here Pens. We've got another video review for you and another Visconti this time. It's the Visconti Silver Dust Opera Master. So with no more ado, we'll go and have a look. Well, here we go with the Visconti Silver Dust, and for those of you who have not seen it before, this is the new premium box from Visconti. You will see it's a reasonable size as I unpack it. Here we go. So that's the outer, and here we have the main box. Here we are, and we'll take the lid off it to reveal silver dust, nicely nestled there, and obviously a pen of some substance. But I'm just going to put it aside for a moment because I'm going to take a look underneath the box, or underneath the shelf there, and we've got the Visconti warranty. There we go. And we also have, nestled away in here, what they used to call the mosquito filler. For very obvious reasons, it looks like that rather long proboscis is very mosquito-like. They now call it the snorkel filler, possibly trying to gain association with the excellent Schaefer pen of that name of the past. There we are. Now, the advantage of this is, well, basically it keeps your hands clean. What you do is you put the nib of the pen in here. Pop this out for a moment. Sorry about the noise. You always think this is quite quiet, but on a video it probably sounds like the earth collapsing, so I won't put it back in again. You'll see that inside here there is a rubber gasket, so you essentially push the nib in there as tight as you can, stick the proboscis into your bottle of ink, and it'll go right down to the bottom of the bottle, so that's pretty cool in itself. Operate the filling mechanism, take the nib out of this, and Bob's your uncle. You've got a full pen and nice clean hands. So a useful system. There we go. Right, so now let's take a good look at the pen. I'll just clear away all of the bits and pieces, the ephemera. And here we are. So it's the Opera Master, which means it's the classic squared but rounded off, squaring the circle shape as they used to call it. And this is an Opera Master size, which means it is a larger version of it. So it's an oversized pen, basically. It's a demonstrator, and inside it, we'll have a closer look in a moment, there are bits of silver dust, hence the name. The cap is made of lucite, which is a deep black resin Visconti are very fond of. I can recall a series of very nice overlay pens they did in lucite with silver overlay. One of my favourites, I think, had a spider on it, a spider's web. Fantastic pen. But this is a pretty nice looking pen as well, isn't it? So let's just go a little bit closer and see what we can see here. So starting at the top, or starting right at the top actually, there we go, we have probably got a Visconti logo, and yes we have. You can get a sense of the shape of the pen here, and because this is a limited edition, and what I need to tell you is that it's limited to 600 pens. I'm trying to read here what size that is. Let's have a look. Is it 195? I think it is, you know. So we'll zoom out again a bit. There we are. And the Visconti logo on the front. And of course the classic Visconti cap. Clip, again, you know. Sprung clip, very fine piece of work. And here we can see it is the Visconti power filler system, which is essentially a plunger filler system. And I'll show you how that works in a moment if you're not familiar with it. That's the knob that operates it. But also if we look in here, we see the nib, which is the tubular smart touch nib. This is a broad one. You see that the section here is lucite, but I'm going to come in a little bit closer so that we can have a decent look at this material here, and it really does add a good bit of interest. And I do wonder what it's going to look like with ink in it. Quite good, I should think. So that's the little particles of silver that they put in there, and they're trying to associate that in the blurb with stardust, the dust from interstellar space. And who's to tell, that could be just what it looks like if you put it in a pen. There we are. Now, I said I'd say something about the filling system, and here we go. So what you do is you unscrew here. Always struggle to stay in focus. I'll just move away a bit actually. There we go. And right, okay, there we go. So you unscrew there pretty much until it stops. I think we're there now. And then that pulls back. And as you push it down, the beauty of demonstrators is that you can show how this works. As you push it down, a vacuum is created behind the plunger, gets to the bottom, releases the valve, the ink floods into the vacuum that's been created. Now the best way to do this is actually to shove it down fairly quickly, and you might have heard a tiny little pop there as it went in. It's a double reservoir, which means that if you keep this bit locked down, tied right down, screwed right down, you should be able to take it safely on an aeroplane. To release it a little bit, that will allow ink to flow into this front chamber here, thus allowing extended writing. There we are. So a bit of looking. Here we go. Now this is the nib. Not much embellished, but it does say Smart Touch here. It tells you about Visconti. Here it should tell you, I think this is a broad. Let's have a look. Let's come in here. It's keeping quiet. It is a broad, that's what it says on the box. There we go. And here we are. So unembellished, but actually quite cool, I would say. We're back out of focus, but we're back in again. There we go. Right, okay. Other things to say, we have the hook lock system. Pop it down there for a moment so we can just look at it and enjoy. What do I need to tell you? Well, I've told you most of it. There are 600 pieces being made. As well as the Smart Touch nib, it's available with the 23 carat palladium nib, and it will be the unembellished one. It'll be the sort of steel coloured one, the silver coloured one. It's going to cost you quite a lot more actually. It's going to cost you about another couple of £100, I think, if you want the palladium nib. It is an excellent nib, of course, but the Smart Touch nib is a very capable one as well. The hook lock closing system, of course, probably one of Visconti's great inventions, and I'll tell you what surprises me about this. It is quite heavily engineered in there, but I've never had a problem or never come across a problem where the closure system fails. There's various springs in there. Sorry about that, that's my computer talking to itself. Yes, it just seems to be a totally reliable system, which, given the amount of engineering that's gone into it, is quite remarkable. So there we are. I think that's probably about all I can say. It's a very attractive pen, as you can see. Visconti nibs always work fine. I'm not entirely certain that there's a great deal of point in doing a write test on these videos, because really it's the feel of the pen that's going to be important to you. Now, if you decide to opt for the Palladium nib, the Dream Touch nib, you will probably know that it's one of the smoothest nibs in the business, and it has characteristics all of its own. If you've never tried one, you probably should. The Smart Touch nib, again, is a very competent nib. It is a steel nib, it is quite firm. They keep saying they're going to produce a flex version of it. I've read about it, I've ordered it, but I've never actually seen one. So maybe that will come one day, who knows. But in the meantime, I think this is a very, very worthy pen. And is it a pen I'd like to own? Do you know, I think I would. It's very distinguished. Thank you very much for listening.